Beginning of Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is all about parallel lines. Section 2.1 is about parallel lines and transversals. Lots of new vocab. Every first section of every chapter is going to have lots of new vocab. This one is not any different. Lots of new vocab here. Okay, let's get started with the most important vocab word of this chapter, parallel. Parallel are two lines that line the same plane and do not intersect. And we have a new symbol there. It looks like an 11, but that symbol means parallel lines. So looking at the picture over here, which of those three lines are parallel? Hopefully you said L and M. So we would write L is parallel to M. Perpendicular. Perpendicular are two lines that intersect and they form a right angle. They form 90-degree angles. A new symbol there looks like an upside down T. So which two lines here are perpendicular? That would be L and K. So we would write K is perpendicular to L. And finally, skew. Skew are lines that don't intersect, but they also don't lie in the same plane. So these are two lines that will never intersect, but they're not parallel. That would be M and K. And those don't have a symbol, so we just write M, comma, K. Parallel planes are just like parallel lines, except they're planes. They're two planes that will never intersect. Think of a cardboard box and think of the top and bottom of a cardboard box. Those would be parallel planes. All right, so our first example is here. A pair of parallel lines. These arrows mean parallel. So if you see lines with arrows on it, that means they're parallel. So that means that in this problem, G and H are parallel. Skew lines. Remember, those are two lines that don't intersect and are not parallel. So it looks like J and H are our skew lines. And then perpendicular, we look for the right angle symbol. Here it is right here. So that would be J and G. So we say J is perpendicular to G. Okay, using this figure, identify all the following. A segment parallel to DG. Well, here's DG. We actually have two segments that are parallel to it. So either one of those would be fine. Let's write JF. And since it's a segment, make sure you put a segment hat on top. A segment perpendicular to GH. Again, we have two answers that are possible here. Either one of those two, but we'll use this one, segment JH. Again, it's a segment, so give it a segment hat. A segment skew to JF. Again, two different answers. This one or this one. I'll use GH. One pair of parallel planes. That would be the front triangle and the back triangle. So we'll say plane DEF is parallel to plane GHJ. One pair of perpendicular segments. So look for the perpendicular symbol. It's right here. So we say DE is perpendicular to EF. And one pair of skew segments. A lot of answers here that would work. So just pick any one segment. How about DF? And find a segment that's not intersecting it, but also not going to be parallel to it. How about HE? Those two would be skew. All right, I'd like you to pause the video here and try this slide. On the right side or left side over here, I can tell you there's 5 answers to part B, 3 answers to part C, and 5 answers to part D. There's only one answer for part A, and there's a lot of different answers for part E. Come back when you're ready. Okay, here are possible answers. Actually, for A through D, those are all the answers that you have to have. For part E, That's just one possible one. So you do not have to have that same answer for part E. That's just one possible answer. More vocabulary. A transversal is any line that goes through two or more lines. Once a transversal does go through those lines, 8 special angles are formed. In all these pictures over here, line T is a transversal of A or B. So let's talk about some special angle pairs. First one, corresponding. Corresponding are two angles that lie on the same side of the transversal and also the same side of the parallel lines. They're basically angles that lie in the same spot. So this one, bottom right and bottom right. Alternate interior are exactly what you would think they are. They're two angles on different sides of the transversal, but between the parallel lines. So 4 and 5 are alternate interior. Alternate exterior are two angles on the different sides of the transversal, but outside the parallel lines. So that would be 2 and 7. And finally, same side interior or same side exterior. Those are two angles that lie on the same side of the transversal, and either both are inside the parallel lines or both are outside the parallel lines. So 4 and 6 would be same side interior. All right, so for 6 through 9, there's a lot of different answers for each of these. I'm just going to give one example. Number 6, corresponding. There's actually 4 different answers, but one possibility would be 5 and 7. Angle 5 and angle 7. Number 7, alternate exterior. 2 different answers here. One possibility would be angle 1 and angle 8. Number 8, same side interior. 2 different answers here. One possibility is angle 2 and angle 3. Number 9, alternate interior. 2 different answers again here. How about angle 6 and angle 3? If you're confused on this part, stop the video and ask a question at this point, because it's only going to use what we just learned for the next couple problems. All right, 10 to 12, identify the transversal and the angle pair. So 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are both on transversal N. And on transversal N, they're on different sides of it, so they're alternate. And they're both between the lines P and Q, so they're interior. Number 11, 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are both on this line, transversal Q. They're on the same side of Q, but they're both not interior and both not exterior. They're both in the same spot. That would make them corresponding. And finally, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are both on this transversal M. They're on the same side of M, and they're both between P and Q. So that would make them same side interior. Next slide, same questions. Transversal, and then classify them. So let's start with 6 and 10. 6 and 10 are both on that line M. They're both on the same side of M, and they're both between the other lines. That would make them same side interior. Nine and 11, both on this line T. They're on different sides of T, but both inside the other lines. That would make them alternate interior. 1 and 5. 1 and 5 are both on this line, L. They're both on the same side of L, but they're not both inside or outside. That would make them corresponding. One of them is outside the lines, one of them is inside the lines. That's why they're corresponding. 3 and 8 are both on M. They're both on different sides of M, and they're both outside the other lines. That would make them alternate exterior. Seven and 12 are both on this line, T. They're both on different sides of T, and they're both inside the other lines. That would make them alternate interior. And finally, 4 and 8. 4 and 8 are both on L. Neither one, they're on the same sides of L, but they're not both inside or outside, so that would again make them corresponding. One's inside the lines, one's outside the lines. Okay, last slide. Pause the video here. We'll make one change first. I want you to change C to be angle 5 and angle 6. And then try these 4 problems. And when you're ready, come back and we'll go through. Seven and 12 are on T, and they're corresponding. 8 and 10 also on T, but they are alternate interior. Instead of abbreviating these words, alternate interior. 5 and 6 are on L, and they are same side interior. And then 2 and 12, both on T, and they are alternate exterior. And that's all we got for section 2.1. At this point, you can try the homework.